everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And today we are recapping 2 more episodes of the show Ride on Hallmark Channel. So much fun. We don't have a name for this podcast yet, but it's just fun times talking about Ride. And I am going to Rachel Wagner, and Jennie's here.
Hi, everybody.
Yay. And Terry's here.
Hello.
And I think you will both agree these were some pretty fun episodes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's the strongest set so far. They're building. The show is definitely building.
Yeah.
Building momentum. And so the first episode that we're going to talk about is called Your Cheating Heart. And it's Isabel and Hank decide to woo Gus's dad, Daniel Booker, to invest in their new business venture. Missy tries to meet with the strange woman from the Frontier Barbecue. So Terry, overall, what'd you think about this episode?
I thought it was a really solid episode. I liked it. The show is gelling. It's getting into its stride. The performances are stronger. People know their character. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. What did you think overall, Jennie?
Yeah, I would agree. I liked that we learned some secrets were revealed. And I think that we're getting closer to the characters and a little bit. I really feel like on this show, every person is in love with some other person. So far, none of the two people that there's not two people that both love each other. Everyone that loves someone, they love someone else. Yeah. So at some point, I want some of these people to turn back to each other. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that Gus and Missy are probably the closest by the end of the next episode, but it's surprising. I want to talk about this because, one of my criticisms of the pilot was, why did they have them almost kiss twice, Cash and Missy? That seemed a lot for a pilot. You should build up to that. But now, ever since then, they have shown almost no interest on the part of Missy in Cash. And I at least took those near kisses as being like mutual or somewhat mutual. It wasn't just all Cash trying to kiss her. Like it seemed like she was leaning too or something. I don't know. And so, but it's almost like, is that one of those things that's just in pilots then that's never, kind of that they kind of forget about for the rest of the show? But because Cash is still interested in her. But we've seen now he's also interested in Valeria, and there's things going on with that.
I think they were just showing in the beginning, that was a quick and easy way to be able to show how that he has feelings for Missy.
Definitely on him. So you don't think that they were showing that she had any interest? Because that hasn't proven. We haven't seen that at all in this series so far, except for that.
Yeah, she hasn't really reciprocated that.
No.
That's what in the beginning, for sure thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, what do you think, Terry?
And were the flashbacks in this episode or the next? Now I can't remember. With Austin.
I think the ones today showed some of Austin.
Right, and it's like when the pilot happened, you didn't really. I didn't feel like there was anything between Austin and Missy. And with this, you actually feel like they had a genuine marriage, like they got along and liked each other. So I just think it's pilot hump, definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting, I think. Because if it was intentional, they've done a really good job of creating a lot of ambiguity, which is intriguing. It makes you kind of like invested in the story of like, who's she going to pick? Who is he going to pick? Is he going to pick Valeria? Is he going to there's no sort of like, well, it's obvious who he's going to pick, which is good in a romance.
Yeah.
Because you want there to be like something to keep you watching every week. Ooh, who is he or she going to pick? Yeah. And so at the beginning of this episode, Isabel tries to talk to Missy. And then Missy calls Polly, this woman. And she answers the phone. She decides to meet with Missy, but then she arrives there for the meetup and doesn't show up. and this woman, Polly. And then at the very end of the episode, she shows up and she says, he didn't cheat on you. He wanted to rig what bull he drew. The wilder the buck, the higher the points. And so I guess this is considered cheating. Like, is it supposed to be like, I don't think any of us know because we're not rodeo people, but like, is it supposed to be random? It's
yes,
not supposed
for
to.
sure. Yeah,
Oh,
it's for sure random. Yeah, it's for sure random.
Okay. And so that's the cheating part, that he wanted to make sure. And then we see in the next episode, we see Isabel saying, why did he need to have the wild bull?
Well, and I think we know, or the
why did he need to
foreshadowing,
win so badly?
we know that the ranch was in trouble. And I think that's giving us the foreshadowing, like he was trying to do something to get money, or maybe he has a gambling problem, or I mean, there's something where he told Valeria, you're the only person that can do this. You're the only person that can help us with this. So we still don't know the exact mystery of what was happening with him and why, but obviously something upset him that he wasn't on the top of his game with that ride. And he needed the top bull because he needed to take the top purse. He needed the most money.
Mm-hmm. And we think it involves Valeria and her gambling in some way.
Well, I don't know if the gambling is even, I think that might even be kind of a cover story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I don't know. That felt a little too convenient of a story because I still feel like she came from money. I don't know. I think there's more to that story of how that all happened.
What do you think, Terry?
I agree. I think her owing like gambling debts was a cover. It was just an easy lie.
What do you think? Do you have any ideas of what you think the motivation was? Why he, aside from just the ranch not doing well, it seems like there's got to be something more than that.
I don't know. Did they know the ranch well beforehand, or was this after Austin died that the ranch was doing poorly? He definitely owed somebody money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he got into trouble for something, and maybe what he did is what actually put the ranch in jeopardy later. Yeah, because it's a year later after he died when everything started and they were in trouble. But maybe what he did started them down the path of trouble.
Yeah.
Well, we get this from Cash. Says he's talking about Gus. He says, he reminds me of Austin. Everything is so easy for him. Guys like Austin can charm their way through anything. So there's something there, and there's definitely some resentment between Cash and Austin.
Oh, yeah, it probably all has to do with
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Then we have Gus's dad, Daniel, coming into town, and this is played by Dylan Neal, and he says that his time is worth $750 for every minute. So this trip to help the ranch, it cost $150,000.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Dylan Neal did you like him in this role, Terry?
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, it was like, you're supposed to not like him, but he is investing money. But I thought it was fun, and it's been a while since we've seen him in anything Hallmarky, so it was nice to see him back.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen him since he was in like there was a gourmet detective movie, and he was in a movie with Danica, Christmas movie, a while back. But yeah, it's been a little while. And they decide to have this like little rodeo for him. To try to impress him.
Yeah, I don't know that it was a super impressive rodeo. It had like 2 things that happened.
That would not have impressed me.
Maybe 3. I guess maybe it was 3 things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and especially because poor Tough had to cancel his date.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
And I wondered, as soon as he came on and another good-looking older guy came on, I was like, oh my gosh, are we going to have a love square? I don't know what's the next, not a quadruple, but like
for Isabel.
Bella as well.
Right for her. Yes, I'm for that. I think all the men need to be in love with Isabel. I'm for it. I'm for it.
But poor Hank, he'd lose out in that.
Oh, I know.
Poor guy.
Oh yeah, he's coming in third.
Yeah. Poor guy. But I did like the little banter between Tuff and Julian. He says, it sounds like a date. That's because it is.
Oh, they are so
I didn't quite get their conflict. It was like they seemed like everything was going great in the last few shows. They seem like they're having this, cute romance, everything's going on, and then all of a sudden they've got this big conflict and they're, button heads, and I don't know. I felt I didn't get where all that conflict was coming from.
I think he was mad that he kept standing him up for dates and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, they just needed conflict. They
Yeah.
needed something.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we have Cash's wrist is hurt, and he's riding with an injury, and he's like, that's the way. He says rodeo is love, rodeo is family, and that he rides injured, and that makes Isabel really upset.
Yeah.
He didn't even seem to hit hard though. And he's got like his hands all messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that with rodeo, with that kind of sport, they do probably ride injured, for something that's not like debilitating for the ride itself.
Yeah, I think they do too.
Yeah, I'm sure that you have all kinds of like broken ribs and stuff like that you just ride through it.
And his hand was all bruised up and swollen. So obviously nobody was paying attention to see that, or he was hiding it really well.
Yeah, I mean, it probably, I would imagine, it would affect your ability to kind of grip onto the bull.
Yeah.
But he made it the 8 seconds. So, but Isabel says that I want to be looped in on everything now.
Oh, Mama was mad.
Yeah.
Mama was mad.
I was thinking, so we have Julian and Tuff make up and they have a kiss. And I was thinking, is this the first kiss that we've actually had? We've gotten a bunch of near kisses. That's not a flashback.
Yeah.
For anybody? For any couple on the show? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way to go.
They are.
Until today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the first in 6 that we've actually gotten that has been a flashback of some kind.
I'm rooting for those. They're adorable together.
They really are cute.
They play off so well with each other.
Yeah, yeah. And then we also have Missy asking Valeria to be her new roommate. And I didn't know that they were really that close, but I guess just
yeah, they said
limited
in another
options.
episode they were best friends. Like when she came back, Missy was like, you were my best friend, and my best friend disappeared, and I haven't heard from you, and you haven't messaged me. So she said they were best friends.
Yeah.
In the first episode, she was like, we were best friends.
And we got big moments for Valeria and Cash in this episode. They described themselves having a complicated relationship, and I mean, Terry, what are you are you feeling more Valeria and Cash or Valeria and Missy? What are you feeling?
I am totally shipping Valeria and Cash. I think they have the better chemistry.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably more juicier because he doesn't know she's lying and she's got a whole bunch of secrets, and he's whatever he is with Missy, like either having a serious crush that he has never gotten over, or he's in love with her. So it's more complicated. I think I like that better.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Jenny? Which one are you shipping?
I want Cash and Valeria to be together because really I want Missy and Gus to be together.
Yes.
Agreed.
There's way too many complications for Cash and Missy, for a brother to be with his brother's widow.
Yeah.
And I can understand the unrequited love, and I love a good unrequited love story, but I just feel I love Gus, and I just think he's so cute, and I want him to be with Missy. And it seems like Valeria has gone through a lot, so she deserves I think she deserves a good guy too.
Well, I agree completely, and we've been ever since the first episode. We were Team Gus, so
yeah,
Team Beard,
sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the Hallmarkies in general feel. I've been following Twitter, but yeah, big fans of Gus and Missy. I think they'd be a good match. And you do have this scene in this episode where Valeria kind of cute touches Cash, gets a little like close, and and that was fun. So there is that building chemistry.
Yeah,
I think between them.
Yeah, I like that they're going a little slower.
gives you some more complications later on down the line.
Yeah. So then this Polly shows up, and that's when she says he didn't cheat on you. He wanted to rake the bull he drew. And so he cheated, and that's kind of the end of this episode. We have Isabel also making the speech about Rodeo's love, Rodeo's family, and that's what they're going to bring to the Canyon Rodeo Stadium that they're going to build. It seems like this stadium wouldn't be all that controversial. It seems like they'll be able to use it well in this town.
Yeah, I don't get why it's such a big deal to do that either, but
yeah, because it wouldn't only just be rodeo. You could have concerts and community events, and
I think the town was worried that they wouldn't hire local people, that they would outsource everything.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
It does seem like a pretty small town to have a whole museum and all of that.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
Are very invested in this woman's family.
Yeah, it's hard to know how big the town is because we haven't really seen much of it. Just the diner where Missy's mother works, and we haven't seen a lot of this town, so it's hard to know. But I think that they could keep it pretty busy. But yeah,
well, it sounds like it's going to be a multi-million-dollar stadium. So
yeah, all right. Well, Terry, what would you give this episode 1 to 10?
An 8. I really liked it. It was fun.
It was good. What do you think, Jenny?
I'm gonna go 8.5. Oh, 8 3/4. Yeah, I liked this one. This was a good one. Not as much as today. But...
Yeah. I give this an 8. It was good.
Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by W Rated, the podcast where we willingly watch the world's worst rated movies. Join me, Daisy.
And me, Claire, as we break down the IMDb Bottom 100, choosing a different film from the list every episode.
We take a deep dive into the plot, production, release, and reviews, usually with a special guest, to uncover if these films are truly as bad as everyone says they are.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, and anywhere else you find your podcasts.
And so then we have episode 7, Ride or Die. And this is Missy heads to Denver to judge a pageant. Isabel and Hank realize selling the town on the stadium deal will prove harder than expected. And I think you probably love this episode because it's a big Gus and Missy episode. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they had this whole plot line with her being asked to be the judge, and the Frontier people want her to pick to go with their person for this. I forget what they called the pageant, but
Miss Rocky Mountain or something.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain or something like that. But she goes with the one that she thinks deserves to win. So you know that Missy has integrity.
Yes. I loved the tiaras on the cowboy hats.
Oh my gosh, me too.
I just love that. I mean, I'm a tiara girl.
Yeah.
You know, loved it on the cowboy hat.
I loved all the colors of the dresses and their costumes. And yeah, I loved the tiaras too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really fun. And I liked, let's see, what was that girl's name? Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was really, really cute. And I was so happy to see her win.
Although, didn't you think that was kind of funny that her name was Georgia, and Georgie is like, I don't think that's a super common name, but we do know it's a pretty common name on another show that we love.
Yeah. A little Heartland promo in there.
I was like, go ahead, Terry.
And I'll be honest with you, in my entire 40 plus years of my life, I have never met anyone called Georgia or Georgie or anything.
I've met Georgias before, but I haven't met a Georgie.
Yeah. There's just some names I've never come across that are always on television. And I was like, I live in a metropolitan city. You think I would have come across it, you know?
Well, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from, I mean, I know they had to do it really quick, but it seemed like Missy made her whole decision on that one question. And or even if they would have just said, well, after spending so much more time with them, or, spending the whole afternoon with them, or I got to do a lunch with each of the contestants, and this is how I really feel. But they made it seem like everything that she was thinking was built on those two tiny questions, which the blonde girl really did kind of. She's like, her answer.
The big question was that the horses help the beauty queen with anxiety. Georgia with anxiety. That was the big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is very Heartlandy.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh God.
Gotta make those comparisons.
Yeah. Well, it's true because Amy's all about kind of working with the horses to gentle them and to calm them and help them with their trauma. And then there usually is an accompanying human story that mirrors the horse story.
Yeah.
Well,
and
they know
the girl that they wanted, she obviously just gave a pat answer, I can't remember what it was, but she said they should just pass a bill, talk to some people in the Senate.
Yeah.
She obviously was just throwing out a few words that she knew and didn't really know what she was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was supposed to be the stereotypical.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very I want world peace kind of.
Yeah.
I know all about that stereotype. Nobody can see us on here, but I am one of those blondes.
Well, it's like in Miss Congeniality. I do really want world peace.
Yeah.
I always find that I have nothing against beauty pageants, but I always thought that was the stupidest thing to have it. Let's ask what this girl is really feeling. How would you solve world peace or whatever? was like, why are you asking these girls this? Just let them have fun up there, be pretty.
Yeah.
I have nothing against it. More power to you. But I was like, we don't need this part, You don't have to defend. It's like, we must show these pretty girls are smart. Like, you don't have to defend yourself because you're pretty,
Well, it can get them in trouble though. Like, you remember that infamous pageant queen answer about teaching geography and in school. She's like, just going on and on.
This is why we should skip that.
I think
just asking about like world peace is probably safer.
My favorite one is, she's like, what was your favorite date? And she was like, April 24th was nice.
Yeah,
you didn't need a jacket. It wasn't too cold.
Yeah, it's a miscongeniality. It's so funny. Just need a light jacket.
So can we talk about that Missy and Gus went out on a date?
Yay! Yes. So they go out on a date. They're up in Denver. And things are like a little awkward, as they would be like on almost all dates. And they made it seem like the kiss on the cheek was kind of like a gaffe on his part, but I actually thought it was really sweet.
It was sweet.
Yeah, I dug it. I thought it was cute. And but he felt like awkward about it.
Well, it just shows that he respects her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that she's like, she's a widow, and he's just, this was all pro him on this. He respects her. He's worried that he insulted her,
He's like, I'm sorry if I've made you uncomfortable. And I'm like, that would be the opposite. Like, somebody that would make me feel more comfortable. They was kissing me on the cheek.
He's just too good. Too good.
And she turned her face, and he just didn't even hesitate. He just went in and just still gave her a cute kiss on the cheek. I loved it.
It was so cute. And she got him and Sophie like tickets for something. I forget what it was.
For the music thing.
Oh, was it for the pageant? Okay.
It was the pageant, yeah.
Okay. But as we've said, that playing Sophie is Alice Spencer, who is the sister of the girls that play Lindy on Heartland.
What did you think about her outfit that she wore on the date? Because there's some questionable wardrobe decisions on this show, and everybody's always clean, even though they're doing farm work or ranch work.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I liked that dress and the boots. I just thought, I was like, well, look at her. She's like matching from head to toe in every department. I really dug that look.
Yeah, those boots were gorgeous.
Yeah, they were. I was like, she looked really pretty.
It was cute. It was cute. And then we do find out that, so Missy tells Isabel about the cheating that she found out. And
Cash told her.
What was it, Cash?
Missy didn't tell, because Isabel was like, I know something's wrong. Just tell me what's going on. And she wouldn't tell her. Mm-hmm. And then Cash told her on the porch, and he said why Missy was upset and why she quit. Which, come on.
Yeah, she quits.
She quit. That kind of annoyed me a little bit. Like, come on.
I don't understand why she was so upset about him on the mechanical bull. There's all that padding. You're not going to get hurt. So what's the harm?
Yeah, I don't know either.
She was taking out maybe. She was mad at Austin. She couldn't be mad at Austin. So she was mad at his brother.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because I'm just like, normal common people do it. You don't even need to be like a
yeah.
You don't even need to be a cowboy. So I just didn't understand why that was the tipping point. She's like, I'm quitting.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that either. But I was glad that Cash told Isabel, and it didn't stay like this big secret. I was glad that he told her, and that just got out pretty quick.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
So then Janine shows up with all these balloons, and is she into cash too?
She's into everybody.
I was a little confused.
Kudos. I love her. Girl, she's thirsty. She's great. I love her.
Well,
yeah, but
she's been kind of into everybody this whole time, and you really don't like her. But then all of a sudden, this show, she's supporting Tough, and she starts singing, and she has a really great voice. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I kind of like this girl.
Yeah, she's a mean girl.
They did sound really good together. They make for a good duet.
Yeah.
Paul says, we don't need you to ride Cash, and says it'll always be hard for me to trust that you riding bulls will be okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And Cash says, I'm not Austin.
Yeah.
So but we find out he has a hairline fracture in his wrist.
Yeah. I actually think this is the best Cash episode. Like, I really think he's come far a lot, like between the previous episode and this one. He's more stable. You get more into him. He obviously has brother issues for whatever reason. And I just felt like, I'm starting to like Cash, as I didn't like him before, because I thought he was too temperamental. And he's opening up so much more as a character, where you're like, I kind of like this guy. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, we're building it. And then we get this whole scene of Isabel in the hotel confronting Missy. And Missy says, did I win fair and square when she was competing in the pageants and stuff? And because of what had just happened with Georgia, because Frontier's all upset that she didn't pick the winner that they wanted. And they have kind of this confrontation between Missy and Isabel. And so we also have Julian getting upset with Tough. And he wants him to sing his own songs instead of covering a song. Anyway, their conflict is a little like, what's happening?
Well, and I liked his song. Like, it started out so good, but it didn't. I really thought his song, like he was so nervous about doing it. I thought it was going to reveal something more.
Yeah.
Or some part of the song was going to, like, I don't know, shed light on something in the family or something about him, or I don't know that the song was a good song, but I don't know that it was what was the big worry about playing the song. And then it didn't even seem like the family was listening.
No, I mean, it was nice accompaniment to the episode, but I didn't see that it was some like big reveal of like, it wasn't about cheating or I don't know.
I think they want to do these mini conflicts between and Julian. I don't know why. They could just be happy. They could be fine without any conflict. So it didn't really pay off. But
Mark, let's just have some happy couples.
I know, like they don't need conflict. They're happy. I'm very happy that they're happy. You know.
Well, it's true though, because if you think about Heartland, one of the reasons why it worked is because you had Ty and Amy as this like consistent couple. They had a few little ups and downs, but you were never really that worried that they were gonna like break up.
No.
But then you had like Lou going through, and so all the other people could have conflict. Tim had tons of conflict. But you had this like solid relationship to the kind of the foundation of the show for a long time, at least. I think that there is some truth to that is something kind of helpful. It helps you to get like really invested in a relationship.
Don't be afraid to make a couple happy.
Okay. It's true.
We don't need conflict for everyone.
Yeah.
Speaking of cute couples, they did show a little bit with Cody and Isabel and him supporting her, and
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Kind of cool.
So happy he was back.
Well,
Yeah.
we have this problem because Isabel wants to just do everything kind of homegrown and cheap and everything. And what's his name? Dylan, Neil's character, Daniel, I think. He wants to like hire it out and get PR firms and spend all this money and everything. So they're having some conflict there too.
They are both.
I think it's good that it's showing that she's taking an active role and that she has run this ranch on her own. She knows something. She's not just going to let these men steamroll her. I liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too.
They mentioned some dollar amount. She's like, oh yeah, that was on line 42. And it was like, oh, right there, she studied this thing. She knows exactly what's going on.
It is the hard part about running a business is like, how much do you take on yourself? And then what things do you choose to delegate? That, because time is money, your time is money. But then it can even be more work when you delegate something out, depending on how good they are doing their jobs and how much time you have to then spend overseeing everything and making sure, like, it can be hard to figure that balance.
Sure.
Yeah. But she says to the crowd, she says that that family takes care of each other. This will be a partnership with you. If you aren't happy with the decisions, you know where I live.
Straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
She's not taking.
Yeah. So Cash says that he's not going to ride because of the wrist. And he says to Missy, I want you to be my coach. And I mean, I feel like, she's talented in trick riding, but I still don't know if she's qualified to be a coach.
I don't either. Like, she tells him to do exercises and ride, whatever contraption they have at the ranch at home.
Yeah.
I don't either. It's just to keep them in each other's orbit.
Yeah.
I think we just have to suspend the belief in that one and just believe that she knows what she's doing in that she's a coach and that she helped Austin. And
I guess a lot of coaches don't necessarily like do what they are coaching. They just know how to coach and lead. They're not necessarily like great all the basketball coaches aren't necessarily great basketball players. It's a different skill set. Anyway, and this is when Isabel says, why did he need to win so badly?
Well, he needed that money.
Yeah. And what was it? And that he needed the money for is, I guess.
They should just ask Val. Val knows.
Ellen.
I think it's coming. And then the best part of the whole episode. So we got the great music from Tough in the background. And we'd had a little moment between Cash and Valeria. And like, they're playing good and they're kind of nice. And then you see
little flirty flirt.
Yep. And then you see Cash looking at Missy, and then Gus says, sorry, I hope we didn't make you feel uncomfortable. Just let me know when you're ready. And she's like, I'm ready right now. And they have their kiss, and then Cash sees it from the back. And so all the intrigue.
He took it surprisingly well.
Yeah. I mean, he's standing right there next to Valeria.
Well, true. I mean, like, she's right there. He's right there. Come on now. She's right there. She wasn't married to your brother. It's totally cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do think that this show will struggle a little bit to keep it. That I feel like this kind of show is screaming for like a little bit more content than Hallmark is going to allow. Like, it's screaming for like to get a little soapier than I think that Hallmark will, even with their new standards. I think it's kind of screaming for that kind of like soap. But they'll do what they can.
Drama. You want more drama?
Just a little bit more spice, I think.
Yes.
Don't you think? It's like screaming for just a little bit more to go. These are grown-ups after all. I mean, at least Heartland, you're dealing with like the main character's a teenager.
Yeah.
Whereas these are these are grown-ups.
Wait, Harlan's been on a long time. She's no longer a teenager, right? She's
Not anymore, but yeah, it started
Yeah.
out with her 16.
It started out.
Yeah. So yeah, no, she has a child and everything, but like
It's been on a long time.
but anyway, so it'll be interesting to see how they manage that. And they're able to get it. But I really liked this episode. I thought it was really good. Tough. He's a good singer. That added a lot. Jake Foy.
Yeah.
He's good. Really good. So yeah, I'd give this one like a 9. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good one.
I gave it a 9 too. I loved the kiss. I thought it was fun that we got to see a different side of Janine. And I really loved that Isabel went to Denver and like really supported Missy and showed that she was like a mom to her. So yeah, I'm in for a solid 9.25.
Okay, good. Yeah, and it was cute after the kiss how Gus was like, "Whoa." He was excited.
Also, we got to see James Tupper ride in that mechanical bull.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was like a really quick
which made me laugh, but I loved it as well.
Yeah, that was
because he just seems so uncomfortable on that. And his character seems uncomfortable, like shy or whatever, but it was funny. I loved that though.
So do you agree a 9?
I agree a 9, yeah. Just for that alone.
Okay, good. All right, well, very good. Let us know if you're listening what you think of these episodes. We'd love to hear your thoughts and how you feel like the show is going so far. Our next episode will be the home stretch of the season. Then we're over the hump, the midway point. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward. And so Jennie, how can people find you and your books and all the fun stuff?
So I write Western romance. So if you can't get enough cowboys and you want a little more spice, you can find me at Jennie Martz Books. You can find on Facebook, or you can find me at jenniemartz.com. I have a whole series on horse rescue ranch and hockey playing cowboys. And so if you need more cowboys, then check out my latest book, Every Bit a Cowboy.
Nice. And Terry, what about you?
I am on Twitter at Flurry Heaven. I write a bunch of nonsense and complain about how dark The Little Mermaid is.
Oh my gosh, you can't see.
You can't see anything, yeah. So if you want to hear me rant about that, just about how dark it is, that's all. I have no other problems with it. It's just that I can't see it.
Well, you can also find me at Rachel's Reviews with more ranting about not only just how dark The Little Mermaid is, but how terrible Flounder looks. And I hate it. But that's another podcast for another day.
The first time in a theater, I couldn't see anything. And the lights were still on when the trailers were playing. Did
you see that mashing up that happened in the theater with Rise of the Machines and Little Mermaid?
Yes.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen because it was like perfectly synced. It almost felt too perfect, but I don't see how you could plan that, but it was hilarious. Anyway, you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And we're also recapping Heartland. So if you're into Heartland, we will have a recap of that this week, season 16, me and Michelle. And they just announced season 17 is filming now. So I told Michelle she didn't know that she was signing on for a lifetime commitment. Great. Recap Heartland, but we're having a blast.
More time to catch up on Heartland.
Yeah. But make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our patron group, which is a lot of fun. And we're going to have Rodrigo Massa on this month for our watch along. That's going to be super cool. Speaking of singers, great singer. And is the star of Merry Texmas, which we're going to be watching. So that's going to be really fun. So check that out. We also have the merch store, which has lots of fun design. So check that out. And thanks so much. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.